Oh, economy, you silly set of numbers. How you been? Oh, you're not feeling well. Yeah, I kind of noticed that when I didn't see any help wanted signs on any fast food joints or gas stations or anywhere. See, in general, at this point in time, the economy is one giant, huge, steaming pile of fecal matter. We're not just talking any fecal matter, we're talking about the kind of poo produced after a night of binge drinking and tacos. For some reason, there's corn you don't remember eating in there, but there it is anyway, staring you in the face, taunting you to try to remember when you even had corn last. You know what I'm talking about. Don't act like it's never happened to you. All analogies aside, America's been through many recessions before, right? If you know your history, the worst of them turned into a depression on Black Tuesday, October 29th, 1929, when the stock market took a giant leap off a tall building, followed closely by all the stockholders in that day. I don't care what you say, it's been 80 years, it's fine, it's not too soon. Moving on. I'm not going to bore you with historical facts or anything like that, just go watch The Cinderella Man or The Grapes of Wrath or some shit. You get a pretty good idea of what the Great Depression was about. Now, I'm not comparing this current recession to the Great Depression or the Dust Bowl era, I'm just simply pointing out how far the economy can fall. So let's look at this current economic anal rape from my point of view. I'm a self-employed contract laborer, which is basically a fluffy term I like to use for painter slash wallpaper hanger slash do whatever else you need done around your house for money. One would think that in these harder times where companies are laying people off left and right that this field of work would be a sanctuary against this craptacular economy we have. Nope, not the case. I mean, yeah, it's easy to think that houses always need to be built, people always need roofs over their head, but apparently this isn't some kind of dreaming unicorn land. And that's not how this bullshit works out. It's simple logic. The people who need work done are getting laid off or scared by the media or freaking out because their coworkers are getting picked off like a fat kid in dodgeball. They either don't have the money to pay for my type of service or they think it's unnecessary. Either way, it turns out for me. But I can't hate on them for that. You gotta do what you gotta do, and I of all people understand that given my current situation, which some of you know, some of you don't, but that's a rant for a later time. So, hanging on to the gotta do what you gotta do mentality, I realize that especially in the thick of a time like this, you gotta take what you can get in order to make ends meet. And if that means digging ditches, well, you just have to swallow your pride, pick up a shovel, and get to digging. The issue with that is, at least in this part of the nation, is that there are hardly any jobs at all, let alone something that I could actually do, putting my pride aside or not. Even after that explanation, some of you still might be saying, hey, why don't you just get off your ass and get a job, you fatty? Jeez, you don't have to be so hurtful about it. Wait, you mean I can just walk out my front door and get a job? Seriously? For real? Why didn't I ever think of that before? No, it's not that easy. And for those of you who have job security, count your blessings and pray to God or whatever you believe in that job security actually lasts. It's a rough world out there. People are looking to take advantage of your situation. For the average person, all of your earnings can be taken away in the blink of an eye. To this explanation, somebody might say, well, f*** all that then. Why don't you just go back to college and get a higher education? Employees like that. Let me put it to you this way. Out of all the people that I know that have college degrees, most of them either worry about their job daily or can't even find a job to put their degree to use. So for the average person, sure, you've got a college degree, but you really have an assload of student debt as well. Couple that with the fact that you really don't have a way to pay it off, and that translates into slamming your head into a wall many days, wondering why you even put up with 4 years of bull just to be stuck in the same position you were in before. I understand that my personal experience doesn't mean it's the same everywhere, but to be completely honest, I don't think I'm too far off course with that statement. And if you stop and think about it, it's even worse for higher paid people. There just isn't that much money for companies to spend on specialized job payroll anymore. That and throw in the fact that there's always somebody out there who's better at your job than you are who'll do it for less money. See, this whole situation isn't easy because there are multiple problems involved. While it may not be the same for everybody else, in general, people having to deal with this economic crisis have at least one of these problems they have to contend with. You may only have one vehicle split between multiple family members and no means of public transportation. The cost of getting to a minimum wage job may not be worth the income you can even make. Hell, there may not even be any openings for the minimumist of minimum wage jobs in your area. Minimumist? Is that even a word? Alright, you may be partially blind, diabetic, have no legs, and illiterate. Regardless of the reasons, my point is that when you're on the outside looking in at an issue from a high vantage point, it's easy to tell somebody to suck it up and get a job. But you and I both know you really have no knowledge of the true extent of the problem. Look, I want all you to do me a favor. I want you to leave me a text comment or a video response telling me how this economic slump has affected your lives. Let me know what part of the nation you live in or what part of the world, and give me some examples about what you've done to try to get by. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make excuses as to why I haven't left the house in a week. This is all all stone cold fact. I'm not even trying to blame anybody else. I know my situation is on me, and only I can get off my ass and fix it. All I'm doing is simply giving you my personal account on where the economy is at this point in time. So believe me when I say the only person you can depend on is yourself. And I know it's harsh, but it's reality-based truth. Purposely or inadvertently, people will inevitably not be able to help you, which again is a realistic fact. One can't spend 100% of their time helping others and expect their own lives to be peachy. This is not a fantasy world of rainbows and glitter and cute puppies frolicking in a meadow. Oh, I wish it was. So the question is left, what am I going to do to support my family in this giant cluster of inflation and economic downturn? Who knows, maybe I'll move to Mexico and sell chiclets. Maybe I'll pick up an instrument, join a traveling band, or maybe the circus. I don't know. Maybe I'll just start selling my body. You guys would buy, right? Yeah, nudge, wink, nudge. Hey, who said that? Who said it was gross? Listen here, you son of a...